Well, welcome back to, we're back to Cheddar. I'm going to try and walk around here, you know, fairly regularly. Certainly try and get around here a couple of times a month where possible around the other walking, because you can walk a bit further and it's a bit more up and down in places. But we're gonna camp tonight, at least that's the plan, to camp tonight. So I've got the Wind Rider 70. It's only about half or so filled, but I've loaded it up with water because we're not going to get water, you know, up here. I'll just show you. I mean, it's not mountains or, you know, anywhere really fancy, but, and I wouldn't exactly call it, I'm not going to call it remote, I'm not going to call it remote, but when I say remote, I kind of mean loosely in my definition of it's remote out here. It's very, 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 very muddy. Comment below if there's anywhere on earth, you know, obviously other than the Amazon or something, you know, ridiculous like that, that's muddier than Cheddar, because Cheddar is just, it's one of the wettest, muddiest places ever. And, you know, everywhere around here is just a mud bath. It's, if you don't like mud, I probably wouldn't, if you don't like mud, I probably wouldn't recommend Cheddar other than middle of the summer when it's hot and dry and then it's all dried out. But it's slick as well, so you kind of got to have your balance a bit because it's quite slippy slidey, plus there's like limestone rock. Oh God, we're actually getting into geography now. Tony the geography teacher. Tony the educator. But I think it's limestone around here, and that's actually really quite slippery when wet too. So I'm sure there's some joke. I'm sure there's some joke in there somewhere. I'll let the filthy minded ones of you run amok there. But basically we've parked in the lay-by, car should be fine, and we're basically just going to do the same walk that I would do as a day walk. I mean, I've done it in the dark many a time I've been wandering the hills of Cheddar at night. Well, early evening, and of course in the winter it's dark. So we're pretty used to these hills. As I've said before, well, I've been coming around here now for 22. I mean, given that we're in 2024 now, so 22 years will take us back to 2002. Yeah, we've been wandering these hills here for 22 odd years. I was talking and then I realised that I'd not deleted the footage on the other GoPro. So I proceeded to use the phone app to delete the footage, and of course you know what I did. I ended up deleting, luckily it was only one take, so I deleted the footage that I'd literally just done. So I've got the audio, because the audio is separate. So I just held this camera. I've never done that before. Normally, and I think it's something that I need to make sure that I carry on doing normally, not when I'm out And that's delete footage and get the GoPros ready before you set out, or at least before you hit record on anything, because you could end up recording on one and then be a complete muppet like me and go to delete and format the card on the GoPro that you've not used yet, because I like to, I format everything before I start and end up formatting the wrong one. But basically what we're doing, as I was saying, we normally just do this as, as a day walk, but it's nice to try and get out occasionally for a little extra sneaky camp sometimes. So that's basically what we're doing today, and we've got everything we need for the night. It's not too cold. It's about 8 degrees, something like that. We're coming up to some more famous cheddar mud. When I was talking about mud earlier and you were just looking at a field, in the original take I was going through a really muddy bit, and the mud's still on my shoes from that. We've got another beautiful muddy bit here. I've never come down here in the mud, because we're actually doing this walk in reverse to what we would normally do. Yeah, so I can do a long walk initially and then get into camp, hopefully just before dark. This bit's not too bad, but it's really quite mucky and muddy. As I said, if you don't like mud, then Cheddar really isn't the place for you outside of summer, because I guarantee you will just get caked in mud. Certainly the lower part of your, certainly the lower part of your legs. Oh, damn it. Yeah, that was sunk in there. It sank right in there. Yeah. I don't normally, film around here because I just come here so often, but I thought as I'm camping, we'd just film, a little bit around here. I don't know if you saw that sign. There's a sign that said risk of falling trees. Health and safety has gone ridiculous now. This little stream thing here, this is really kind of opened up. It's actually much easier to cross now, because at one time it was like really narrow through there, and it was like that narrow up there all the way down and all the way through that narrow there. And somehow in the last couple of years, it's quite recent, it's opened up to this, and now someone's put some logs there. It's quite easy to cross. But this tree has always been here, and you were never able to cross through that. I can't remember why, whether it was overgrown or whether it was just too muddy. I can't remember. But you could never cross there, where it's easy to do with those logs now. You had to cross through there, and of course now nobody's going to cross through here. They're all going to go that way, and it was always really awful having to cross through there. It was, to be honest, it wasn't as deep water as that. I don't know whether we've had so much rain recently, things just seem more flooded than normal, but it was just like really thick oozing mud, and then you had this tree that you had to get past as well. It was really quite difficult to get through there. I mean, the river local to me at home, I mean, it's nowhere near me. Well, I mean, I'm I'm about 65 meters above sea level where I am, so we're not zero chance of flooding where I live. But the local river, that's burst its banks twice this year. I mean, luckily it's down in a valley, so it's really just it's just a dog walking path that's flooded. But you know, I mean, I've been there 50 odd years, and I've never, well, once, one other time, about 2 or 3 years ago, it burst its banks, and that was like the first time ever. And if you watch, I think it's in a video. If you watch a very, very old video with Best, and you've got Best running, because obviously, like I said, we always tended to do this in reverse. And you'd have Best running down here, and then running and jumping over this log there. And it was much, much bigger and muddier and more difficult to get over back then too. I think it's in a very, very early video. I just remember this old trunk being like really, really much, much higher off the ground. You had to scramble over it, and it's slowly rotting away. We're going to come up to doing the little bit of a walk that I do around here. We're going to come up to one of the very, very few roads that we have to cross doing this walk, which is why I like it round. Lassie, wait! Lassie, wait! And I still didn't say come, did I? But this is one of the few roads that we have to cross, and it's just look how quiet it is. And then you're back. Hello again. And then you're back. Ooh. Into the wild into the wilds of Cheddar again, back into the wilderness. And that's it. And now we won't see another road now for probably, oh no, actually we will. No, we will, but a little while. One rather flooded path. At least it cleans your boots off. If nothing else, it certainly helps clean the old boots. I remember a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I think it probably was with Lassie. I don't think you can see my head there, maybe you can. But I remember filming my feet in mud up here, you know, before this YouTubing business became big business and everything. I remember filming my feet walking through mud in another very, very early video. Lassie's in her. I will say this is not this is not a stream. This is a footpath that has turned into a stream. A few weeks ago, I was down this way, and I went in that direction but coming back, and I'd never been that way before, and I was walking, and it was pitch black, it's raining, it was miserable, and I was thinking, I'm sure this is the right path that's going to get me down here. Anyway, it's kind of one of those things where you sort of think, you know, you're questioning yourself, even though you're ridiculously safe. You literally, this is one of the safest places to walk around here. And then we're going to walk across the top of the Mendips up there, and that's the this is the this is the highest point up here. This is the highest point of the Mendip. So of my local area, this is the highest point. It's not as high as Dartmoor and that obviously, but it's the highest point around here. So this is Beacon Batch. We're at 1,066 feet, a mighty 325 meters here. So, you know, we're incredibly high and it's very dangerous and exposed up here. 325 meters. But this is the highest point here. Lasses found a stone. Okay, well, obviously you can't see very much with the, you know, the cloud and everything, but that reservoir is, well, I think it's Chew Valley Lake, and then that's, you can't see Wales, but the foreign land of Wales is beyond the cloud. It's beyond the cloud. Over there is Wales. That's where King Kong lives. In the, we've upset the Welsh again last week. Oh God, poor Welsh. That's where King Kong lives, beyond the clouds. That's Wales land, you know, way over there. You can't see. You might just be able to see the Severn Estuary through there, and then maybe a bit of land just beyond the water. So that's Wales. The Severn Bridges are kind of over there somewhere. Bristol Airport is kind of over there somewhere. And then Western Super Mud would be down there. Probably further down that way, but not a million miles down there. I think Western would be down there somewhere. So that's a little view over that way, and then Cheddar is kind of over that way, and it's quite breezy though. I don't know how windy it is exactly, but it's probably mid to high teens on here. I think there's a really big black cloud coming over us, and I think it's going to empty it out with rain, but it's cleared-ish behind, so I'm kind of hoping that the rain passes by fairly quickly, because I've got my waterproof trousers, but they're in the pack, and slightly annoyingly I think my snack chocolate bars are in the pack as well, which is a bit stupid. Anyway, we're okay, we'll keep going. So the plan really, we've still got quite a bit more walking to do. I think it's going to be dark when we get to camp, because it's gone 3 now. Well, it's exactly 3. It's an hour and a half until it'll be dark. I think it's dark about 4:30 now. It was about 4, but I think it's about 4:30 now. So we're going to walk down, not as far as those trees, about 2/3 of the way towards the trees, and then we'll take a left-hand turn, and that'll kind of swing us slowly back towards Cheddar. But it's still, from up here, it's still 45 minutes, an hour to Cheddar. So I'll think when I get over that side, whether I camp this side or whether I go down the hill and then up the other side and look for somewhere on the other side. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll kind of see how it goes. I probably, in a way, ought to go the other side as much as anything for the exercise. So we'll kind of see see what the time is and how I feel. See how lazy I feel. I mean, it's not. We're out here to enjoy ourselves. Not. We are here to keep fit, but we're not here to. We're not here to overexert ourselves too much. That is what I do like about. Like I said, that's what I like about up here. You can walk, and you could probably walk. To be honest, I've not really done it. I ought to do it really, but you could walk, you know, from the Beacon Batch down the other side. I mean, obviously once you get over that way, then you're going to be with all those buildings and everything, but you could probably walk around the other side of this hill. It's definitely getting a bit on the fresh, breezy side. You can see what I mean. The bottom of my legs are very wet, but thankfully my shoes, no, my feet are dry. My socks are dry. I mean, the top of the socks are probably wet, but the bottom part of is another beautiful wet boggy bit there. It shows how wet it is up here. Look, you've got aquatic growth in a puddle. I mean, you know, this isn't a pond or a pool. That's a puddle, a big puddle, and it's got aquatic stuff growing in it. It's really quite wet. I think we might be able to work our way. We're having to go go back a few meters to go around. Oh. It's wet here. Okay. Oh. So yeah. Yep, you've got aquatic water plants growing in the puddles here, but you don't get that in too many places. It shows how seldom they dry out. All right, well it's about 3:20 and it's going to be dark in about an hour now. Oh, it's pretty miserable. I must admit, I really am looking forward to the summer. I'm tired of this cold, wet weather already. I don't know what that funny thing is over there. If anyone comes up here and knows what that is, I've often wondered whether it's like an old air raid shelter or something like that, but it seems so far away from anywhere that I don't know, unless it was like a firing thing or something. I'll go and show you. I haven't looked in it for ages, but I'm not even sure if you can go in it now. But you've got a huge grass bank over it. Obviously at one time it was fenced off. You've got a wall in front. Oh, and it's gated so you can't go in. But I wonder what this used to be. Like I said, you've got some sort of venting thing there, which I think they've bricked up. There's like a venting thing, ow, up there. Could have been anything to do with like the Royal Observer Corps or something, like some sort of underground, because somewhere in the Mendips or in the Somerset area there are a lot of like aerial things. I don't know whether they're still there, like masts, like communication masts or something like that. They're probably still there. Like, you kind of wonder if it's something to do with that. You know, in a bygone day when we were worrying about Fritz. All right, so now we're coming up to another very busy road in a minute. I'll just show you quickly so you can see. So you've got one car driving down, and then there's one car. So you've actually got two cars on it, and all we've got to do is just walk from the corner of the road up the top. And you kind of do stay on the road to, you know, to turn off, but then it really then just goes to a farm, and you virtually never get any cars on that. That forest, which is that forest over there, when we were up there, you could go across through that forest and kind of over this little bump here, not the one in the distance, but this little one here, and you can kind of add on an extra hour to the walk. So as part of my exercise thing, I'll try, like I said, I'll try and get round here a little bit more in the coming months, because you can walk about 10 odd miles around here with very few roads. Yeah, you kind of, well, I suppose you could even do it without walking through Cheddar, but yeah, you kind of got to go through Cheddar, but that doesn't matter. And most of the time it's not that busy in Cheddar. You're just walking past it anyway. But it is a handy area around here for, you know, getting a little bit of distance under your feet. Like I said, we've literally just got that tiny bit of road down there. We're not going to go left where that car's going. We're not going to go right over that way. We literally go down to the road and then straight up towards those farms or those farm buildings. And once you're up to those farm buildings, you're kind of off the road. Although, like I said, it is a road, but it's like a farm road, and I don't think it's a dead end. But I really don't think people use it very much. All right, well we'll carry on down here. Still wet. Still very wet down here. Oh. I hope all these houses down here have got good drainage underneath them.